Underneath the trees, we watch the sky, confusing stars, the satellites. I never dreamed that you'd be mine, but here we are, we're here tonight, singing, hey, man, I'm alive, I'm alive, singing, hey, man, I'm alive. If everyone cared and nobody cried, if everyone loved and nobody lied, if everyone shared and swallowed their pride, then we'd see the day when nobody died. And I'm singing, hey, amen, amen, I'm alive. Hello, people, and welcome back to 1 Hour with UCIEL. Today, there's a lot of things we want to talk about that I want to talk about that I want to bring up. But first, let me start by saying that the need for fostering animals is out there. People don't ignore it. If you know someone that is throwing dogs, that is getting rid of the dogs without, say something, or um, for some reason this is happening worse than Bakersfield. Maybe it's happening everywhere else, but I'm hearing a lot from Bakersfield that they're lacking out of help, and people are just dumping baby mamas and babies and mamas, pregnant dogs, babies, and it's just crazy. And they're all out there in the field. And my thing is this, I'm a big supporter of animals. I'm a big supporter of ASPCA, and I want to know where are you? I'm making it public that I've been trying to get a hold of you, and all I'm getting is SPCA, which is a continuation. It has nothing to do with the ASPCA. But if you go to the ASPCA website, you get a lot of donate here, do this, that, but you don't get a lot of support where they could help animals in need. Now, Kejo, I've been donating years, and I don't like to say things that I do. I don't like it, but years, and I can't get a hold of them, um, because these animals need help. These dogs are innocent, and step up, big foundation. Step up, help up. Um, there's animals out there in Bakersfield that need you. Please step up, help. There's a young man out there named Eddie, and he's helping these dogs, but he could only do it for so much because he's only one of him, and he don't have the space for it or the money for it. It's a lot of them. It's a lot for him. He's a lone soldier. He needs our help. And if you're a big dog that could help, please, I'm gonna try to put my his information on my link, and you could go to him directly. I'll put his information on my link. His name is Eddie, and you'll find him on my link. Please, let's help him. Let's do good this year for them. And instead of buying a puppy from the stores, see, those stores are gonna those breeders and those stores are gonna be breeding dogs and selling dogs because people buy them. The moment we stop buying them, it will stop. Just adopt a animal that needs you. Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you. Now I'm going to go to something else that as I talk to people, I get a lot of I don't want to say excuses, but I get a lot of reasons of why they don't like going to church. And as much as I would like to argue with them or different with them, they are on point. They have a reason. They have a valuable reason. They have the same reasons I had, the same reasons I still have. So, but what we want to try to is let them know that it is not the people that go to church. It's not the church itself. It's learning about the word, going and visit God's home, and learning and taking the time to visit Him. Not You're not visiting the people at church. You're not there for that. You're there to learn the word. And let's I want to talk about some of these reasons that the people give me. And today we were talking to somebody too at the vet and gave the reasons why.
Because when we talk about God, the first thing they say, well, I don't like to go to church because church people do this, church people do that. And then the sad thing about it is that we can't argue with them and say, no, that doesn't happen, because it does happen. It does happen. We don't like to admit it. Whether we're ashamed or we ignored it. That's another thing. We ignored stuff that happened. You know, uh, I want to start with every time we have a testimony, something to share. You know, we seem to leave out the reality of it. Example. A lot of people give a testimony, and they said how God worked for them, how they used to do this, they used to do that, and they make it sound like now they're not struggling, that now they're now that God has helped them with that, everything is pink and rainbows and roses, you know but it's not like that. It's not like that. you know uh now that it's not like that. So now, what happens is this: when people are up in the altar and they're talking about their testimony and what God has done for them, you know, a lot of these people are still struggling with issues, with human issues, because we're human. We're human. Because if we were perfect, then what's the point? What's the point? I mean, there's only one perfect, and that's Jesus. That's God. What's the point? If we were perfect, you think we were going through all this? God will the world will be different. Wouldn't have to go through what we go through. God wouldn't put us through stuff because we're not perfect, because we're human, and He understands us and He helps us. But we have to speak the truth. Speak the truth. I have not yet. When I hear testimonies, I have not yet heard someone to be honest and say, this happened to me, and now I have a job, or now I have a house, great, awesome. But they never say, although I'm still struggling with my issue of this, I still have this, God is working with me, this is what God is doing for me. No, they make it sound like I'm perfect, everything's fine. Now that God has saved me, everything's fine, I'm not doing nothing wrong, and everything's rainbows and bows. My question is, if it is, then why are you still struggling? Why are you still struggling? If your life is so perfect, why are you still struggling? We struggle all the time here at UMO. We have stuff that God works on us daily. We're far from perfect. We have testimonies and we have miracles that have happened to us, but that doesn't mean we still don't struggle. He didn't he promised that he was going to be there, but he never said it was going to be, you know, that it was going to be perfect. He didn't promise that it was going to be without sacrifices. He didn't say that. What he said is he's going to be there for us. And when we fall, he's going to lift us up. And when we're down, he's going to lift us up. When we need help, he's going to help us. But if we think getting a house, curing us from cancer, it's going to be it, there's a lot more he could do for us. People have addictions, but they don't want to talk about them. They have issues. Either they're embarrassed, ashamed about it, and they don't want to go up there, because all they hear when they're up there is, oh, I used to be a druggie and not no more, God cured me from that. That's all they hear. They don't hear the struggle. They don't hear that I'm still dealing with this. With drug addiction comes this. Whatever is the situation, people are not hearing the truth. They're not hearing the truth. This is why a lot of people get discouraged, or if not discouraged, they think that um well, my sin, my shame is bad compared to these people, so I'm not going to go up there and tell them what I'm going through, because I'm embarrassed, because I'm going through some crazy or some you know issues. But little do they know that the people that are up there are probably going to wars, but they're not talking about it. They're just, they're just surfing around it and talking about the little miracles. But how about the big miracles? Like for me, for example, you know, uh, I struggle a lot with liking people that easy. You know what I mean? Like if you've done something bad to an animal, like I have an opinion about it. I have an opinion about it. If you hurt a child, if you hurt, someone, I have a hard time forgiving that. So this is something that I struggle, and I have struggled all my life, and that I'm still struggling. No matter how wonderful God has changed me, I'm still human. I struggle with that, and I ask, you know, to work with me. I tell God to work with me because, we're not supposed to have bad feelings towards each other. But if you're hurting an animal, if you're hurting a person, I'm not going to be too happy, you know? But see, no one dares to say that. They were like, we all brothers and sisters. We all love each other. We all supposed to love each other. Meanwhile, back home, you're talking about that person. Meanwhile, you're back home criticizing people how they dress, criticizing people what they do. But you're up there in the altar saying how wonderful your life is, how good God has been to you. But at home, you're doing something else. See, I keep it real. I'll tell you in your face, and if you put me up there, I will tell you yes, this and that, and knowing that that's and that, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I love everyone. I'm not going to do that because I'll be lying, not just to the people, but to God Himself. And He knows the truth. And there's no point of me lying when He knows I'm lying. I'm trying to please Him, not the crowd. So for me, it's hard for me to go up there and share a testimony and then get down and say everything's uh, colorful and everything's love and rainbow and kisses. It's hard for me to do that when I know it's not. When I know I'm struggling, when I know I'm struggling, forgiving people for hurting others. When I know I'm struggling with, with people that are bad, I struggle with that daily, daily. you know God has done so much for me. He's done so much for me, but He still has a lot to do, and He's still doing it. But until we're honest, we're going to be close to perfect, not perfect, close. There's a lot of lying, a lot of talking behind your back at church. you know I you know I knew a lot of stuff about certain churches that I visit. I knew stuff, but because it's none of my business, because I really didn't care. But I knew in my heart, I knew things, and things come and open later on in years, and it's worse than I thought. That feeling that I had that that person was lying came out to be true. And then I wonder why people don't want to go to church, but it's because of that. Because when you're at church and you dress up all cute and pretty, and you're up there in the altar saying, I love you, my brother, I love you, my sister, and I love you, you're kissing each other and all that. Once that is over with, lights turn off, people go home, they forget about that. Not everyone. They forget about that. How? Because when a brother and sister that they call themselves is struggling with finding a home, with paying a ticket to fly out of state, or with help in general, no one, no one in church steps up and says, I got you, brother. I got you, sister. You could stay at my home. You could stay I'll feed you today. I'll clothe you today. They won't do that. But when they're in the altar, they're saying, I love you, my brother. I love you, my sister, this and that. And oh my God, my heart goes out to you. But they're not willing. But they talk all that pretty stuff. And they'll say, I'll pray for you. I help you, I help you, you know, I'll pray for you. Thank you, that's nice, but I need help, I need help. So this is why people are discouraged, because so much hypocrites, because so much people, you know, say they're willing, but they're not willing. They just say it. And God knows that. You don't fool God. Might as well just don't say it. If I can't help someone, I don't say it. I don't say it because I know I can't. Could be because I don't have the money for it. I don't have the space for it. You know, I won't say it. But if I could help someone, I would do it. I don't just say it. I'll do it if I know about it. But see, if when people start talking about what really happens to them in their life, in their mind, in their heart, what they're going through, when they start opening their heart and speaking truth, people are gonna see that they're real. People are gonna see that they go through the same thing that we all go through, that they're normal. If you take that I want to call it a if you take out that the costume of Christian, it's a costume. It's a costume. Everything's so beautiful and roses and tears and roll down the stairs and do all kinds of stuff. And then, but you have some bigger issues to deal with. When you take off the costume and be real, keep it real with the Lord, oh boy, then people are going to be like, wow, this person is going through the reality that I'm going through or went through, you know? I if we it's always the same. There's people that there's always the same story with them. If you notice that, there's always the same story. There's always the same issue. So if God saved you from that issue, but you're coming back again and saying the same issue 3, 4, 5,000 times, are you really saying the truth? That you are doing that? That God did that for you? Are you saying the truth, or are you just saying it to be up there? Or are you just saying it because you keep doing it and God keeps getting you out of it? It's hard to, it's hard for me to process that. It's hard for me to process that. So when I'm talking to people and they're telling me all this, I can't defend it. I can't defend it because I feel the same way. And because not just one person feels the same way, because a lot of people feel the same way. There's beautiful people at church. I have met awesome people that are genuine, but there's a lot that they're not. There's a lot that they're not. There's a lot that don't even say hi to you. They don't even say hi to you. You know, I'll greet anyone at any time. Even if they look at me, I smiled at them. And some of them give me a dirty look. Yes, at church. Yes, they do. And I'm like, wow. And here you are up there talking about how God is so good and how brothers and sisters, I love you. But when you come down and I look at you, you give me a dirty look. Those are the type of people that people are witnessing and they're not liking, and they're stopping them from coming to church. If your pastor don't have time for you to hear you at least for 2 minutes, there's an issue. That's an issue. See, people are craving that. They want prayer. They want you to have the time to listen. See, when we're out there at the park, we talk to people and we try to listen. Do we agree with what they tell us? No, we don't agree with what they tell us. Do we understand them? At times we don't understand them, but we're not there to judge them. If anything, we brainstorm when we come home and we talk about it, and this person needed this person, and we talk to them because it's reality. We're not gonna be like, oh my God, everything was wonderful, kisses and roses, and everybody got saved, and that's because that's not truth. If that was the truth, we shouldn't be going out there every time we have to go out there. We would have gone to the next park, but because there's a lot of issues where we go, we still have to be there because there's a lot of people that need God. They're getting, they're getting familiar. They're liking the word. All of them? No, no, not all of them. But if we have 30 people and two are getting we're ministering to, two of them are one prayer, two of them are listening, guess what? Those two are the ones we're going for. But I would lie to you, say, "Oh my God, we saved all these people. This, all this." It's a lie. It's a lie. You know, people start need to stop saying that everything's so wonderful, that their life is perfect. Oh, God saved me from this. Now I'm doing this and that. Say the reality. Reality. God saved you for from something, but he's but let me show you what he's doing for me now, because I'm struggling with this. So people that are listening to you, people that have some issues, major issues, could have the courage and get up and speak or ask for help, and see that we are human, and see that we're not going to judge, and see that we have the same problems, and see that, oh, maybe that he could relate, she could relate to me, because I'm not the only crazy one, or I'm not the only one that's going through that. But because we make it a fantasy, a little story, fairy tale, that all is good, nothing else is matter, you know people don't want to go up there. It's over. If you notice, always was the same people. And I'm not saying that everyone that goes up there is lying, because that's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying they're lying. I'm saying that they're not saying the whole story. I have a hard time believing that someone that is so close to God is hurting so much, because my God is wonderful. God is an amazing God, and he doesn't want his children to be suffering all the time. He doesn't want them to go through that. He wants them to do better and better. He's not gonna take you back. Oh, you know what? You said a bad word, so now all these bad things. That's not how he works. But if you're up there in the altar every weekend or every other weekend saying the same story, and maybe you need to start speaking the truth and saying what you really need, what you need prayer for, what you need to work on. Maybe you should do that. You know, a lot of people are ashamed. A lot of people are ashamed, and shame, it's a way of running and hiding. Shame makes you run and hide, because you're ashamed. You don't want people to know. So you're going to hide. You're going to hide. uh, you know, I'm not going to say what I did, because, you know, uh, well, nobody's saying that, only me. So there goes the shame, and there goes the lie, and there goes the hiding, you know. And as much as I want to say, well, you shouldn't do that, I really can't say that, because there's no opening for you to be honest when people are judging you, when people are pretending that they never did crazy things. There's a lot of people that are not ashamed and say what I did, and so am I. I'm not ashamed, but I'm not ashamed today. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, because I gave it to God, and I really gave it to Him. Do I struggle? Absolutely. Is there a lot of things I don't understand? Absolutely. Absolutely. But my God is so good that even though when I struggle with in some areas, He helped me out a lot in a lot of things. A good example, this morning, I had an appointment early. I had an appointment early with my mother, and I overslept because I didn't get a good rest last night, because my dog kept me up. So, um, I couldn't sleep for that reason, because she's the only reason I can sleep, not because nothing else. So I was late. I woke up late, and I'm like, oh my Lord. I'm like, I just put on my clothes, brush my teeth, and wash my face, and let's go. You know? Um, and I get there, like 10, 15 minutes late. And I signed in, and I told them that I was late. That I don't mind waiting, because it's only fair. If I'm late and someone's there on time, it's only fair. And, but I had a lot of other things to do. So I'm like, I kind of can't wait, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be upset about it. And no, as soon as I signed in, less than 5 minutes, I was called. My mom was called back, and she was called back, and she was one of the first ones to get out. And I'm like, thank you, Father. Thank you for that favor. Thank you, Father, because, you know, I was, like, I'm late. And I have seen these people make you wait, but they didn't. So I recognize him on every favor he does for me. And I say, thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Because I had a lot of things to do with my dogs, with the show, a lot of things today. It was a busy day. So, you have to look at the things that he does for you. And you need to start sharing those things, letting people see that miracles are not just big miracles, they could do little favors for you. He does a lot of things for us. He does a lot of things for us. But we need to start speaking the truth. We need to start letting people know that whatever they're addicted to, whatever they're going through, it's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay. We're not going to judge you. We're going to work on it. We're going to get rid of it. And we're going to put it in God's hands, but really put it on his hands. Really put it up there and let him know. And let God know what we're going through. He knows already. He knows already. But he wants us to fellowship, to pray for one another. But really pray, not just say, I'll pray for you, sister. I'll pray about it. Go home and you forget about that person. We have to we have to be compassionate. We have to not judge and not be scared of what the things that we're going to hear. And just because you're Christian and you're saved does not mean the world is saved and Christian. That does not mean they have real issues. Sometimes I think that um, you've been so stuck on your religion, that you forget how really the world is out there, the crazy things that are going on, the crazy things that people say and do. That you forget that there's real life out there, that, you know, that the enemy is around. He's just an alert looking for the bad people. He's working on them, because it's easier for you to judge and for you to ignore it than what it is for you to deal with it, pray for it, open your doors, your heart to them. It's easier for you to say, "Oh, I'll pray about it," and that's it. See, bad people put more work into that person than good people, because bad people will, I'll pick you up and we'll go drinking, or we'll get a high, or we'll do this, we'll go rob or steal. It's easier. They'll put the work on it. But see, good people, Christian people, don't put the work on it. Well, I can't because I have a hair appointment. Well, I can't because I have a nail appointment. Well, I can't volunteer because this and that, because my sister's visiting from out of town. Well, one of them I heard said, "Well, I can't because I'm going to pick up my boyfriend from the airport." I'm like, okay, like, okay, we have Uber now, Just saying, it's just crazy. We're not willing to sacrifice. We're not willing to do for others. So how do others supposed to come to us and we're not willing to do for them? How? How are they supposed to come up to us when we're not willing to go and help them and understand them and make them comfortable to talk to us? How? You know, uh when God is doing something for you, really talk about it. Really say what He's doing for you. Don't just sugarcoat it. Don't just put a little rainbow in it and, this and that, and that's it. The struggle, the struggle, because that's what God wants. God wants us to tell people what He's done for us. Let me tell you about my Jesus. Let me tell you what He's done for me. Let me tell you what He got me out of. Let me tell you. Don't just be like, I was sick and then my sister prayed for me and that was it. And then that was here. Like the struggle. The struggle. That's right. That's right. That's right. He can do for you what he's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus, and let my Jesus change your life. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. People need to be like, you know what? God has done this for me, but I'm still struggling with this, or God is working with me on this, because He works with me. Like I said, I have a problem with forgiving people that quick. I have a problem. That's my issue. My issue is forgiving people that quick. If you're a bad person, I have a problem. And I don't think, cause there's type of bad people. There's people that are just evil and just do things on purpose, and not someone that, I'm not talking about people that have struggles and have issues and did things when they're in their past and they're changed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking people that claim to be good but they do bad things. Those are the people I'm struggling forgiving. That's why He's working with me. And I think this is why He put me here, and this is why He put me in the park, for me to get to know, you know, for me to get to know. The other day I gave a dog food to this homeless person that had a dog, and I was telling Blue, God, he was so rude. I almost didn't want to give him anything, but God said no. Go up there. And this is, that's how He's working with me. And I sucked it up and I did it, because I grabbed my stuff and I'm coming back with waters and all kinds of stuff that I had. But God said, no, put it right there. You're doing the right thing. That's how He deals with me. He puts me in situations that I have to suck it up. Will I ever change? Will I ever change? Only God knows. Only He knows. He knows I'm trying. He knows I'm honest about that. It's just, don't be ashamed. Don't let shame of your past, shame of what you're doing or what you're struggling with. If you first The first thing is recognizing the problem. If you recognize it and you ask for help, you shouldn't be ashamed. You should not be ashamed, because he takes that from you. He takes that from you. I'm not ashamed of my past. I used to be, but I'm not ashamed of my past, because He took that from me. He took that from me. He could take that from anybody. But we need to stop being so quick to judge and so quick to be scared of what we hear out there. Oh, I can't believe, she was this, or she does this, or, she doesn't fit into our club because, our sins are smaller than her sins. Flash news. A sin is a sin. Flash news. If God forgave you, He could forgive anyone. Might not have the same turnaround. There's consequences. We all have to have consequences. That's the problem with people. Uh, People don't like consequences. People think that they can continue doing wrong and everything's gonna be fine. I'll continue to do what I do. Be misbehaving or doing whatever it is that they're doing wrong, and everything's gonna be okay. All I have to say is sorry and do it again. You know, no, no, you can't be doing that. Some people get tired of it. People get tired of it. People get tired of the same thing. Like me, I like to help people, but they don't want to be helped. What can I do? If they don't want to receive God, if they don't want to receive their help, if they don't want, they want everything handed. God puts people into your path. God puts people that could help you get out of what you going through, or to hear you, or to give you a solution, or He puts people. It's up to you to use it, but not misuse it. Utilize what He gives you. Like one of my friends says, People don't know how to receive their blessings. No, she says, no, people don't know how to receive their blessings. They're so prideful. I know people like that. No, I got it. It's okay. I don't need help. But you're struggling, dude. I see you struggling. I see you hurting, but you don't want to because you're so prideful. Well, the attitude sometimes is, well, I could handle it. But obviously, it's been like that for a long time. You still can't handle it. Don't be so prideful. If people are willing to help you, be grateful. Be grateful and receive that help. Don't take advantage of it, but receive it. Receive it. Because there's good people out there that are still willing to help. There's good people that are willing. Good. There's good people that don't have nothing. They have very little, but they're still willing to share with you. That's that's love right there. That's love. We have to try to understand someone that is struggling, that is addicted to something. Just because I've never been an addict, so I don't know how that feels. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna judge him. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna be like, oh, well, I can't help you, or wow, he's addicted, or he was, or she was, or she is, or whatever. That does not change nothing. Maybe God gives you a word. Maybe God gives you a solution. Maybe you could guide him to the right people. But don't judge. And when you're out there telling people what God has done for you, you know, tell it like it is. And if you're still struggling with something, let them know. But this is how my God is working with me. This is what He's doing, you know? Because the way that when they go up there, sometimes they make it sound, not everyone, because I have heard awesome testimonies, but sometimes when you go up there, all they say, they're like, you know, th- this and that, but everything's good now, they make it sound like it was just, phew, like everything's, like I said, a fairy tale. There's no fairy tales. No, it's reality. It's reality. We live in a world where there's a lot of bad going on, and we're trying to save people. We're trying to get them close to God, to see the beautiful of God. There's a lot of bad. But how are we going to supposed to help these people, and we're not letting them speak, and we're not allowing them to tell us what's going on with them. You know, we shouldn't be scared of what we hear. We shouldn't be closed minded. We should be open minded to listen, to not to judge. If you don't love them, have love for them. Have love for them, because there's a big difference between loving them and having love for them. Because if you're gonna say, "I love you, sister," you better be ready when that sister needs you, that you're gonna help her. I don't go telling everyone I love them. I don't do that. If you guys know me in person, I do not know go telling everyone I love them. I we're supposed to love each other because we're brothers and sisters. We're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to, but mean it, not just because, well, God says we have to love each other, so I guess I have to love them. No, really mean it. Really mean it. Really mean it. And that's what He's working on me with. That's what I said. He's working on me so I could love everyone. Love thy neighbor. Yes, I'm good with my neighbors. I love my neighbors. I'm good. Even the ones I don't know, I'm good with them too. I pray for our building. I'm good. That was a big one. That was a big one. I used to question, like, I don't even know them. Why I have to love them? But yes, if you need me, neighbor, I could help you. Good morning. Hi. If you're a godly person, show it. Show your godliness by being kind, by caring. You know, uh, you have to you have to show what God has done for you. Because if you go out there being a jerk and criticizing people, and when you go home talking bad about them, you know, uh, you know, or I can't believe they're going through that. If you're doing that, if you're that type of person that does that, that's hypocrite. That's hypocrite. I love you, and then inside, oh God, like can't stand them or something, or oh, can you help me, brother? Oh no, I can't. This and that. I can't give you a ride. I can't loan you a buck or two when you can. That's the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the hypocrites in church. It's a lot of hypocrites. It's a lot of people that scream and cry and everything, and that's all they do in church. Outside their home, they're different. They're different. You know, they're different. We have to be the type of people that God is willing to bless. Let's be the type of people that God is willing to bless. He's willing to bless us, but He also sees all. God gives you opens doors and gives you opportunities to grow into His Word. But some people are not ready to receive that. They're not ready. They're not ready to receive that because they still have a lot of issues. They still have a lot of issues they need to solve. Before me and Blue could stand here and talk to you guys, we went through a lot. We bickered too. We bickered a lot back and forth, and in a way, thank God that it wasn't big. We didn't bicker about major things. It was dumb, stupid things that God let us see that it's just stupid things. Of course, we still get upset about dumb things at home. Of course, we're not perfect. Just because he's a rev doesn't mean he's perfect. He's still a man. We went through a lot of stuff. We went through a moment that we thought, we thought we needed a break, but no. God said, no, you're just gonna work it out. Troop, work it out. Troop. It didn't go that far because He had a purpose for us. He had a purpose for us. Every time we will find someone to do a commercial for UMO or anything for UMO that a girl had to do it, I always put, well, let her do it. Let this person do it, or let since day one, since the day one, you know, uh, and it always came back to me first because at first when we first started this, we didn't have the finances. We didn't have, we had just a little desk and a little microphone and stuff and a little tablet. We didn't have the finances. So these people want to get paid. So he's like, well, this person is charging me this much per hour to do this. So I'm like, oh my God, here I go. So guess what? I had to do it. I had to do the commercials. I had to do it, Lady. I had to do it. I didn't want to do it. My thing is volunteering. My thing is not talking here, but God put work, He kept putting me back that I said, I get it. This is what you want me. I get it. I need to stop fighting it. And Blue told me, you need to stop fighting him. He wants you there. And then, a couple of times my show's been number one. And I'm like, really, God? But that's just to show you that even though if I have a language barrier, sometimes maybe I don't pronounce things the correct way, he still wants me to talk because I talk real, I talk raw. My grandma used to always say that I was going to be a trouble because I always spoke the truth. I say it like it is. Have I learned how to be easy? Yes, I have learned that because God doesn't want me to make people feel bad, but he want me to make them feel open their eyes. Someone needs to talk real to them instead of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you, sister. Everything's gonna be okay, sister. Everything, all God willing." No, he wants me to tell you get your act together because God is watching and God doesn't want that. He wants that from me. Now I don't know about others, but he wants that from me. He wants that from me. So I struggle too. We struggle too. As a couple, we went through a lot of stuff. But I've always have thank God that our struggles were not horrible struggles like other couples. I come from a past of abuse, a very abusive past. I come from that. And for me to feel free, no matter how much me and him will bicker, no matter how much we didn't agree, I never felt abused. I always felt free. And this is the thing I told him. When me and Red Blue got married, I said, "You make me feel free." And that's a beautiful feeling because, I didn't know freedom. But now I have God, I know freedom. He introduced me to God. He introduced me to God. I knew him, I knew of him, but I didn't know him the way I know him now. And I think if I would have known him the way I know him now, if I would have known him back there, I would have never gone through the things that I went through. But then he told me, I wanted you to go through that so you could speak to people about it. I wanted you to go through that because I was going to put you in a park where there's a lot of mental issues. I'm going to put you in a park where there's a lot of need. I'm going to put you with people that need you. That I need you to be strong and not be as scary, not be like, oh my God, I'm scared. I need you to be strong because a lot of these people are scared to go up to them because a lot of people are scared to volunteer there. A lot of people are finicky about it, but you're not. So I thanked him for that. I thanked him for that, and it humbled me. And it humbled me. And it humbled me. So don't close your blessings. Don't your calling. We all have a purpose in life. It might take us years. It took me years, it took me forever to find my purpose. I remember telling Red Blue, what am I supposed to do? You know, what am I supposed to do? I just want I want people to keep it real, to be honest with themselves first of all. And of course, you're not going to go in front of church and curse and say bad things like that, but there's always a way to talk. There's always a way to talk. So people that are going to real stuff, this is real life, could relate and see what God has done for you. To see what God has done for you. Because once they start seeing and they start hearing you, they're going to open up and they're going to start saying what they're going through. Or they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. Oh my God, sister so and so, brother so and so is going through that. But while you're trying to sell them a fairy tale, it's not going to happen. We want people to come back to church. Let's welcome them. Really welcome them. There's people that are dying to go, but they have lost faith in people. And the scary thing about it is that they lost faith in people. They, we don't want them to lose faith in God, because, you know, uh, like I said, Pastor said a while back, he said, uh, some people, they like, oh, I'm not going to go to church because my favorite pastor's not preaching, because my pastor's not preaching. It's going to be the co-pastor, it's going to be a guest or whatever. He's like, no, God uses anybody to send you a message. It could be someone you dislike. It changed my whole perspective. I'm like, because I used to be one of those that I used to be like, I don't know about his preaching, this and that, you know. But if my pastor invited him, it's for a reason, and I might get fed something. Now, I'm not saying I listen to every pastor and I agree with every pastor, because no, if it's not feeding me nothing, I turn it off. If it's not, if I'm not understanding you, if I'm unsettled, I turn it off. I'm not gonna be a liar and say, "Oh my God, listen to everyone. Everyone's wonderful. They're all lovely. They're all sweeties." No, I'm not gonna tell you that, because that's a lie. I'll be lying to you, and I don't like to. I don't like to lie to my people. If I'm unsettled, I don't listen to them. So that's why I like to stick around what I know. But if they have a new guest, guess what? I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen and get what I can from it. Feed. I have to be fed. Just like the kids, you know how I tell you guys we have to feed the kids with manners, with thank you, yes, excuse me, and stuff like that, and telling them how great they are when they do something good. It's a pattern. We have to keep doing it so those kids could grow and then they could hear God. The same with us. We have to feed ourselves with the word. We have to go to church. We have to go to his house. He wants us to go to church. So with all you guys that have that mentality that I'm a good person, I don't go to church, but I'm a good person, that's lovely. But he wants you to go to his house. You want him in your house? Why can you go to his house? You want him in your house. Why don't you go to his house? Oh, is it because of 10%? Well, no. Giving from your heart, even if it's $1. If you don't want to give that day, don't give that day. You want to give next weekend, give next weekend. But we do have to give back. We do. That's something we have to give back. Because how else can we pay the Lord? How can you pay? What gift can you give the Lord? By helping one another. I don't. I understand when you guys say I don't like going to church because people are hypocrites, but you don't have to stay have a fiesta afterwards. Your greetings and you're out of there. You don't need to stay. Go say hi. If you want to go say hi, don't be rude either. And you leave. Volunteer here and there. But you do have to visit the Lord's house, especially if you know him. I know a lot of people that know him and they don't visit his house. I know a lot of people that do that. That they say they're Christians, but they don't go to church, and they know better that they have to go to church. I told Pastor, I like to learn. I like to listen, and I told him when I'm not in church because I'm at work, not because I'm home, not because I overslept, but because I was working. I said, but I still listen. I still getting I'm getting fed. And so everyone that's around me, because I play it on YouTube. But I try to make a point of going to church when I'm not working. Because I like to. Even when even when sometimes I didn't agree with the pastor, but a lot of things, you know, sometimes I felt they were for me. Wherever church I went to, even when I didn't agree with the pastor personality or whatever, there was things that I learned. And I sometimes when I'm like, I didn't know that, I fact checked. I'm like, I went back to, I asked Blue and he'll tell me or I'll check it. And I'm like, oh, it is true, because you learn, because it's a learning process. And like he said, like our pastor said, it doesn't matter who he's going to use. If he's going to use someone to get to you, he's going to use them. We can't tell God, well, can you please send me the message to the person I like him or her. No, he's not going to do that. He's not gonna do that. And just because we don't like that person doesn't mean that the Holy Ghost is not gonna tell him what to say. We have to commune, fellowship. He likes that. We have to pray for one another. Mean it though. Mean it. Mean it. You know, we have to. How come? How come people that don't go to church that are how come people that don't go to church that they say they don't like the Christian word and all are the ones that are quick to help others? Strangers are quicker to help others than people at church. Strange. I seen that happen. I seen it with my friends. I seen it with around me. There are people that don't go to church are quick to help others. you know, uh, I have a friend that she quickly opened her doors to people that needed a home. She doesn't even go to church, and she's not Christian, but she opened her doors without asking. She says they need this family is struggling. My doors are open. They could come here even if we sleep in the living room. Who cares? Long as that child is not in the street. That's God. That's God. You know. My neighbor tells me I don't have much neighbor, but I could help you with this, and I'm volunteering, and he goes out there and volunteers. That's God. That's God. And he doesn't call himself Christian and perfect. No. But he has a heart. Have a heart. How come you church people that live in church don't have that heart quick to say, I'll open my door to you, sister. Here's $20 for your gas, for your lunch. You're in a hospital, let me go visit you. Your house is falling apart because it's dirty when you don't have the strength to clean it. Let me help you tie it up a little bit. If they don't appreciate your help, that's on them. That's on them. It's not on you. God sees all. God sees all. And if you go back crying saying, well, I don't know, no one's helped me, this person didn't help me, he's like, I already put that person in front of you. You decide to ignore it. So people, please, when you give your testimony, let's start speaking the truth. Let's start letting people out there that we all struggling, we all going through the same thing. And if you're not, you're blessed and everything. Let them know what you went through to be where you're at now. But be real. Thank you, people. Please, 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 if you could donate to the animals, I have the links there. Please donate. These people need desperately. We have so many dogs that are just need help. Thank you, people. Thank you for listening to me, mi gente. Thank you, thank you. And your time is valuable. Time is valuable to me. I appreciate you. Take care of each other, love one another, respect one another, and keep working on it. Until next time. Bye bye.
From underneath the trees, we watch the sky, confusing stars, the satellites. I never dreamed that you'd be mine, but here we are, we're here tonight, singing, amen, I'm alive, singing, amen, I am alive. If everyone cared and nobody cried, if everyone loved and nobody lied, if everyone shared and swallowed their pride, then we see the day when nobody died and